Shefsky here, and welcome to Fantasy House. Every week, a special guest gives us a tour through their fantasy house. It's really, really fun. It's imagination stuff for adults, and it's the world's only NSFW real estate podcast, brought to you by me, Jon Shefsky. I'm your Southern California real estate agent. Should you be buying a house right now during a pandemic? Should you be selling a house right now during a pandemic? I'm not going to tell you should be doing either of those things. But if you had to, if you're relocating from work, if you're selling your house because you're like, dude, I'm downsizing, I'm going into a condo. If you're selling your condo because, dude, I'm upsizing, I own stock in Amazon. Dude, whatever it is, I can help you out. And if you're curious if you should be buying or selling right now, dude, we can chat. We can have a free buyer's consultation. And the answer is not straightforward. It is not just like, oh yeah, dude, you should totally be selling a house right now. There's a lot of realtors out there that'll tell you like, it's a great time to sell. Look at this graph, which are changing daily. So there's a lot to talk about, a lot to plan for, and I'd be happy to do that. Hit me up, send me an email at fantasyhousepodcast@gmail.com or go to my Instagram, Jon Shefsky, JONSHEFSKY. Why not? That's what I always say. This episode I'm really excited about because this is a return of the great Jon Huck. He's a hilarious comedian, great friend of mine, and I was just riffing with him the other day, and I was like, do you want to come back and do another episode? And he's like, I do. And I said, let's do it. So we're doing it. So let's do this next episode in the words of the great Angelo Bowers. Let us do this.
Won't you take it on a grand old tour of your fantasy house? Your host with the most experience guest in your fantasy house. Give only money for expensive construction.
Boners.
Dude,
I
I don't know what you just said, but it was frozen. It's frozen on you right now, and the sound stopped, and then all of a sudden, all I think I heard was boners.
Yeah, I did say boners.
Let's talk about you, Jonathan Huckleberry. You mentally are in a good spot.
I think so, man. I'm definitely working at it though, which is what I think some people might not realize is you can't just like do one thing. Okay, well, I did this. I did yoga once. I meditated once. You got to keep at it. It takes work to like not go crazy in a time like this.
That's a good title for your biography. My Days in Quarantine. It takes work to not go crazy in a time like this. By Jon Huck. I actually would love that. But dude, it's a fitness. Mental fitness is just like physical fitness. It's rented, not owned, and you have to keep up with it.
Yeah.
If you let yourself
you gotta exercise it. You gotta exercise it. It's like anything, and you gotta exercise your body. You gotta get sunlight. Jesus.
Okay, I was just gonna ask you, what are your 3 tips for exercising your mind for this?
Well, my 3 tips are I like yoga, man, because you're moving your body. You can move your body, and it's basically just like a stretch from head to toe. And if you do, you can do. There's so many different things you can do in terms of yoga. Like if you want to break a sweat and you want to like just layer up, and you can do some yoga you will sweat it up. But also, like if you're just like having a shitty day and you want to do some mid-afternoon relaxing stretches or whatever, like it's very helpful. I find it very helpful.
Do you just go on YouTube, or do you have a specific video that you always go to, or what?
Actually, I use this. I don't subscribe. I subscribe, but I don't like pay for anything. So it's mostly like half-hour videos. But this girl, Sarah Beth Yoga, is who me and my wife use. But that's her. That's like the title of her thing. But she explains it because some of them they over-explain. Some of the videos are just too much. You're like, it's too slow. And you're like, if you already know how to do yoga, you want to kind of move it along. But there is plenty of like really basic stuff on there to kind of keep you occupied. And I think, like I said, that and then meditation is huge.
Oh, so you've been meditating too, huh?
Oh yeah. I mean, you just, and when I say that, like, I never know what people's connotation of that's going to be, but like, I don't sit like, out on a big pillow in my driveway, cross-legged, in a loincloth or anything. It's literally like, because of the way my back and my knees are, I sit in a chair, and it's just like 8 to 10 minutes of trying to be as still and quiet as I can be while I'm just focusing on my breath.
Awesome.
You know
That
what I
sounds
mean?
great. Should we do that for the first 10 minutes of the podcast?
People would
Literally
love
silent
hearing that.
meditation?
People would love hearing that. They would try to figure out which one of us was breathing when. Was that John or is that other John?
Just take it back to the old days. Just have a cute little fart sound, little Adam Sandler audio CD style. Like,
Dude, that sketch with him and Kevin Nealon
oh, dude,
at the when he's the psychiatrist or whatever.
That time that was you. That time that was you.
That when he says that time that was you, I still use that. Like I say, huh? No, that was you.
I still when people fart, I still want to say, hey, what did you eat? It smells like baby food. Or it goes like, don't worry, that's my secretary. Don't worry.
Don't worry.
She gets it all the time.
And Sandler's just laughing. By the end of it, he's just laughing. He's like, no, that was you.
Well, if you're listening to this, Fantasy House listeners, if you're listening to this right now, we encourage you to just press pause and just close your eyes, unless you're driving, unless you're an essential worker actually out there.
And don't do it then.
Don't stop. Don't close your eyes.
But when you get home to a safe place.
Yeah, and I would say just push pause right now and just 10 minutes. Put your timer on your phone. It's very
8 minutes, even. If 10 seems too daunting, start with something like 5.
Dude, even 3 is good. I used to start at 3.
Yeah.
3 minutes.
Literally just start, because I feel like once people let that little bit in, then you're like, oh, I can do 5.
And then you start to like it. You crave it.
That's the thing.
And then your wife gets annoyed and you're like, I'm going to go meditate. And she goes, again? You're like, I rarely, I just kind of like walk off and go do it, or I do it before she ever wakes up. But you guys don't have kids. So once you have kids,
that's true.
You're owned. It's like everywhere you go, you're just like, where are you going? We have work to do. I'm like, I just wanted to. The kids.
Yeah, no, we don't have that. She could be watching like TV and I can just walk off and go do it,
Oh, it's brilliant. Now that's a relationship, folks. That's how you do it. Press pause right now, though, guys. Oh, we're back. How was your meditation, guys? Did you have a good one?
Everyone's like, I meditated so hard, I don't need this podcast anymore.
Oh, shit. Oh, dude, that's, dude. It's the aura, what is it? The Ouroboros? It eats itself or whatever?
What?
It eats itself. It's like it's its own thing. It's its own worst enemy. It's like
Are you trying to say Aurora Borealis?
No, no, what's the snake that eats its own tail? Isn't it Ouroboros or is it something else?
Oh, I don't know.
It's like Jews, how they're like the Jewish people are super into questioning things and philosophizing, and it's like, well, no wonder your religion numbers are always dwindling. You get people to sit around and start questioning stuff. Eventually, they go like, well, what are we doing in this religion? You're like, shit, our own culture did it to our own culture. So it's the same thing with this podcast. We got people to stop listening because they meditated and they're like, I don't need my
I've meditated beyond. Now my fantasy house is my mind.
Yeah. Petty fantasy house, physical realm losers.
Physical realm.
Just having some pretentious person call you a physical realm loser. You fucking physical.
Where's your house in the physical realm? I'll be like, no, I built it in Middle Earth. I don't know anything about.
Oh, it's so funny. Where's your house? Where is your house, dude? Your fantasy house, not your house.
The first thing we do is give out our real addresses.
Welcome to Trick Doxers. Every episode I have a different guest on, and I trick them into doxing themselves. TrickDoxers.com.
Where is your house? What is your credit card number? You have a Social Security?
When are you usually out? And when do you leave any windows open every now and then? Do you keep cash at home? What's your Bitcoin code?
Oh, you can have that. That's 6.
It's just a one number.
One number. 6.
Just one digit.
My house is mobile, dude. My house is mobile, bro.
I like that. It's perfect for quarantine times.
4 wheels. For all times, it's good.
Okay.
But yes, especially right now. It would be perfect for right now, my house.
What's it look like?
That depends. If you're looking at it just like with eyes of like, hey, what do we got here? You're looking at, essentially it's going to look like a extra large Sprinter van.
Nice.
With large wheels, like the basic look of it. So for like the lay person's eye would see extra large Sprinter van, big wheels, probably like maybe like a little bit of almost looks like a trailer on the back. And then that's just kind of like to make it look so no one kind of fucks with it. Like, okay, that's just a van,
Yeah.
Kind of like,
nothing to see here.
but literally outside though, depending on where the van was, is like chameleon skinned. Meaning, if I was, in a very cold climate, winter, snow, I could blend in with snow. If I was in green, blend in with green. Just because when you're kind of living like that, you don't want people to know someone's sleeping in a van. You'd rather not have them come knocking on your doors. You'd rather not have them know you're around, and that is a good way to sort of just not be seen.
You don't want to be seen. You want to live in a van down by the Arctic?
Dude, you can go to the Arctic, though. That's the thing, man. If you're in a van and you have time, you can go wherever.
I want Chris Farley to describe your fantasy house van.
He would be way too pumped to live in my van down by any lake.
So for this episode of it, where would we be filming it? Since it can be a chameleon, where are we locking this thing down?
Really secluded area. And that's the other thing with the van. I can get to places that you can't get to with a regular car. You can't. There's no paved roads, so you're kind of maneuvering into areas where there aren't a lot of people.
Yeah. So
ideally.
Let's say that we're in Wyoming then, and we're by a lake. Because that's where I need some fresh lake time right now. I think we all need some fresh, unless someone's listening to this and they're like, I live by a lake and I'm quarantined here and I just want to be in the city right now.
No. I mean, maybe there's that, but I can't imagine that at this point. If you live by a lake, if you live on a lake, oh man, enjoy what you have.
Oh, dude, everyone in Minnesota and Canada right now is just like, oh man, I really do. Oh yeah, man.
As long as it's not like a super crowded touristy lake, because that's insane.
Yeah, the Ozarks or wherever it was, where they're just like, yeah, dude.
Oh my God.
Oh man.
Having French kissing contests, essentially.
Oh my God. It's insane, dude. It's insane.
But yeah, no, we can take the thing wherever, but I like to go up. I like to keep it near water. It is amphibious, so I like the option of being in, like, you ever been in, like, Lake Tahoe?
I haven't for a long time. I used to live in Mammoth, which is close to Tahoe, but I never really
Oh, wow.
Tahoe.
Yeah, there's like, it's a pretty clean, clear lake,
Oh, yeah.
So it would be nice to kind of be, if you can find a secluded area near Lake Tahoe.
Sounds beautiful. Okay, so how do we get in? How do you welcome us in? Welcome in the crew.
It's simple, man. It's honestly 2 doors up front, like a van, and then 2 open doors on the side, kind of like French doors almost, but just like, they open out. Steps drop down. What?
I said, wee. The doors, they are French,
automatic steps drop down, so you can just walk right in. Like it's like walking up the steps like to a front porch kind of deal. You're walking into someone's house. Pretty basic right there. Back has there is a ladder you can get up on top of the roof, but you don't really need it. It's more for if you needed to perform maintenance,
like roof maintenance.
Yeah, something, because what I have is when you walk in, the ceiling, it's, first of all, the whole thing is big enough I can stand in there, swing my arms around, do a bunch of yoga poses, and never touch either side. So like I said, it's extra large. It's a large Sprinter van with pretty sizable tires.
Yeah.
And the ceiling is padded, one for sound, insulation, acoustics, etc. And then what it happens is you can flip a button and it kind of spins over so that the padding is then on the roof, and then you can lay on that padding and sleep outside on top of the van.
Ooh, you got that hippie mobile.
Yeah, see, so you can do that. You could do a pop-up if you wanted to. There's that option, but this was you just flip it over. The solar panels because it's all solar powered, so the solar panels that are on top just come underneath for the evening, which is okay because it's nighttime and they're going to sleep anyway, right?
That's right.
So, and this is really only for the night, although you could do it, I guess, if you wanted to be up there and tan and stuff, but like it is kind of a padded, it's meant to be a bed, so I don't think you want to like sunbathe in your bed, it'd be weird. There's also a master bedroom inside the van if you don't want to do that or you don't feel like sleeping outside.
Let's go into the master bedroom. I want to see it.
Up around that. What's that?
Let's go into the master bedroom. Show us the
master bedroom's straight to the back. Essentially, you walk in, the captain's chair and the passenger seats are to your right. You'll have like the beginning, like there'll be a hangout area, sort of like what do you call, like a TV room almost, like where you can kind of chill. Those seats flip around. Yeah, it's like a lounge area where if you're going to, because when you live in a van, you attract a certain kind of person a lot of times, and not all of them are savory. You know what I mean? So you
So funny. I was just thinking about this the other day.
You want to be able to like not necessarily like be rude to these people and turn them away, but you also don't want them all the way inside your van.
Oh yeah.
So it's kind of like this lounge right at the door is a way that if you guys are going to smoke a doob, because you live in a van, you're probably smoking a lot of doobs.
You got it.
And if you're gonna, or like share beers or do whatever, hang out. You know what I mean? Just have it with people you're not familiar with. That little lounge area is what you do. You can keep them almost standing right outside while you sit and enjoy the shade. And then everyone's like still together, but they're not inside your house.
It's so funny you bring that up because I was just thinking of this the other day. I was thinking about like how annoying that must be to have an RV and be like, oh man, this other person's coming by and they want to hang out right now, because there's so much culture that goes along with like, we got no anchor, or we're not anchored anywhere. We can go wherever we want. And it's like, that brings a lot of benefits, but also brings a lot of like, people can shit where they eat because they're going to move. So you have crazy vagrants and like just annoying people. And no offense to anybody that's listening to this in their RV right now in Winnebago.
You know, but that goes with any kind of, because I would say like RVing is a little bit of a cultural, like it's like a, you know, it's a group of people that are into that kind of thing, right? And people that go off the grid and that live in vans, and I'm fascinated by it personally, which is why right now that is my fantasy house, because I'm online like looking at tiny cabins and refurbished RVs and buses and like just like how much pricing things out, like looking at custom companies, like so if I save this much, could I ever? Meanwhile, every time I bring it up, my wife's like, could you not talk about living in a van? I don't want to live in a van.
I told my wife that. She's like, we have cats. I was like, they'd be fine in a van. What about our cats? They would love a van.
Kids would love a van. Cats don't give a shit where you live. They just want to hang out.
But the bathrooms are always so small. I always am like, can't they just make the toilet so that your butt's not like pressing against everything?
Well, if you've looked at any of these refurbished ones, the toilet, like the ones, because I want one with a shower. Mine would have a shower, right?
Of course.
Mine would have a shower where the toilet wasn't also in the shower. Mm-hmm. Because the way they're designed now, these toilets like slide out, but they're in the shower stall with you. So you're like 1 in the morning, you're like taking your dump, but then like 20 minutes later, when it's time to take a shower, you're like in there with your poop odors, like
that's
showering.
just a full body bidet.
Dude, it's not a full. It's just getting the hot poo cells all over you, like embedded into your skin. You're like
Jon Huck.
You're gonna end up. I'm not a doctor, but it sounds like you're gonna end up pooping out the same poop again, just absorbing it back in and keep pooping it out. So you don't want anything like that.
Man, one man's pooping it out is another man's. More efficient use of gray water. I don't know.
Though that's the thing is too, gray water tanks. I got to learn all that stuff, but it's convenient. So anyway, I would have my bathroom would be almost like part of a pop out but also if I wanted to, all glass, meaning all clear. It would be clean plexi pretty much, but like I'd be able to, like if I wanted to sit and poop looking out over a mountain or something, you know, wherever I was parked, as long as I knew there wasn't going to be anyone looking back in going, I got kids, we're camping, guy. What could you not? Then, sometimes that's what I'm saying. I would always want to be in a secluded area where I could just poop and look out over my.
I love the idea of that. The idea of pooping and seeing the pondering, poop pondering.
Just you'd never bring your phone to a toilet again. You would just look at mountains and birds and. I'm sure animals would get real curious. You know what I mean? Too. I bet you'd get, depending on where you get some elk walking up there going like, "What are you doing in there?"
Oh yeah, dude. The eye.
And then they like laugh. Yeah, he wiped his butt. He doesn't poop when he walks. What a pussy.
You think that does the moose have a MAGA hat on?
Let me guess. This guy puts a mask on his butthole.
It's a MAGA moose. It's a MAGA moose. Oh, what a puss!
Dude, we're up in MAGA moose country. It is dangerous.
That actually does sound pretty dangerous. MAGA mooses.
Well, dude, moose are not. They're not like you don't want to fuck with a moose and see one. Like they're pretty. They're bitey. I think.
My friend's dad was a hunter, and he's also they had a business up in Alaska, and he used to always tell us like, no, you definitely, there's more chance you're going to have a problem with a moose than in the area that they were at. Like they're like, you don't have to worry about bears and snakes as much. He's like, but a moose out here will trample you pretty fast. And they're like,
Yeah,
well,
bears and snakes will be wary, and they'll probably go the other way.
Yeah,
but like moose will be like coming through.
That's the funny thing about Mother Nature. Everyone's always like, I was healed by Mother Nature. It's like, have you ever watched David Attenborough show, like what Mother Nature also does when she rips your intestines out while you're screaming?
Mother Nature shows are some of the rapiest shows you're ever
going to mother.
No animals mate with a romantic anything. It's like,
it's so true.
And then the male showed his feather and then ravaged the female, and then she bit off his pecker, and it's always some horrible.
Do you think a rape defense attorney has ever been like, "You're on a look
people
at your
are animals. People are animals. We're mammals." And if you look at this David Attenborough thing I put together, all these it's like a Pornhub montage of just animals humping.
Dude,
he's like Attenborough going, "Love at first sight.
It doesn't exist in Papua New Guinea."
I love when he's like, he gives out really good information, and then he'll try to be funny.
I love his humor.
But sometimes it'll be like, it's so dad, she goes, and then they played a game of cat and moth. And you're like, good play on words, guy. Move along.
Oh, dude. I love it. I love it. All right. So you have a sweet bathroom where you can see everything.
Two bathrooms, one for me, that's my bathroom. If you were to be with me in my van, you would use the bathroom up towards the front.
Okay. Our cheeks
it's just a plain bathroom, very simple, but very nice, very clean. Each bathroom has a screen too, voice activated, so you don't have to touch it with your dirty poo fingers. Nice. But like you say, if you want to read, the screen is big enough for reading. You pull up like a Libby, that app Libby where you get the library books. If you want to read something, you can just pull it up and you read on the toilet. You finish whole novels that way. Honestly, dude, I read Jaws in college in one semester by just taking all my shits in the library and reading and pulling that book off the shelf before I went into the bathroom and reading chapters at a time. And I finished it. I started The Stand that same semester, and then I graduated before I finished.
You never finished it?
No.
He's a man who takes his shits in the library, gets a lot.
Dude, it was the best bathroom. It's the best bathroom where I went to college. But anyway, so that all screens, voice activated, everything's voice activated in the bathroom, so you don't have to
That's great.
Touch anything.
They're already almost there right now.
Yeah, no, we're not far from that.
Sync.
I expect it'll just be probably a couple hundred added on.
Oh, for a couple $100?
Yeah, when I get this van made.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I'm reading you the plans that I'm going to send to.
Are there any special rooms in here that we should see? I feel like there's got to be a kitchen of some sort. You got to make your food or eat your food somewhere.
There is. I'm a pretty simple eater, man. I like eating like I'm camping. Does that make sense? I like cereals. Yeah. I was
just gonna say your porridge and steak.
Trail mix. I like
I love
granola. I like you can make grilled cheeses, you can make burritos, you can make whatever you want with a skillet and a fire.
What would we make right now on the show? You're hosting, you're with me. We're showing.
I got a bad sweet tooth, so I would go crazy with s'mores. And then probably be like, hey, is that a wedding cake? Where'd you get that? Yeah, and then I'd probably have a slice of cake.
A wedding cake.
I mean, if we were I don't know, man. I could eat some chocolate. Is what I'm saying.
Me too. Dude, I was so good about not overeating chocolate for probably years of my life, of adult life, and it came back so hard in the past 3 years.
Well, as soon as I haven't drank for a very long time, and when I stopped doing that, the sugars that I must have been consuming from alcohol were like, hey, you can't just stop that willy-nilly. Literally the alcohol itself I was like, okay, I'm done. I won't drink for a while. But the sugar, I was like, I was eating candy corn in July. You know what I mean?
I imagine you just eating.
But people are like, what are you eating? Where'd you get that? Who's making that right now? How did you find that? It's and you've heard that joke that it's the same batch of candy corn keeps getting remade and then just passed out again, and then people just return it.
So gross.
I had a circus peanut. You know what I mean? It's one of those really some of the candy that people will, if they get in their Halloween bag as kids, will just throw literally into the garbage. I was like, no, that's good stuff. That's good stuff, and way not in season. It's like old
No.
cantaloupe.
But that's the thing. Oh, God, I love cantaloupe, though.
So do I, but not bad cantaloupe.
Oh, bad cantaloupe.
It is.
Cantaloupe smells weird pretty easily. It already smells a little weird on its own, and then
I
3
scoop
days
the
later-
guts with an ice cream thing, and if it's not a little bit mushy, then it is real bad.
Oh yeah, dude, cantaloupe it smells like you're just eating a dead guy's like ass.
Butthole.
It's just disgusting.
Yeah.
But chocolate, dude. What are you eating for chocolate?
Well, I disguise my chocolate eating in trail mix. I say
Okay.
I like trail mix,
It's so
and
good.
then there's has to be the trail mix with the M&Ms in it. You know what I mean? Like
Oh yeah.
I get a lot of my chocolate that way.
You pull the raisins out?
There's certain kinds that yes, because sometimes, dude, the listener can't see this, but you can see right how big my finger is. Like that's a big finger. Using my head as I've seen raisins that were like
Just too big.
Dude, I did once.
But
I wish I would have taken a picture. I was super wasted when I lived alone, and I had this like generic off-brand plastic jug of trail mix, and I dumped it all out onto my kitchen counter, and I took all the raisins out. It was like, dude, I'm not even kidding you. It was like about half or a little more raisins. If you put the raisins back into the thing,
Yeah.
like this is such a scam. Like, give me more peanuts and more M&Ms. But also at the same time, I used to, when I realized that, I would pull the raisins out, and then I would double up on. I'd buy a bag of M&Ms and then Reese's Pieces, and I would dump those in and be like, I like trail mix.
I mean, I'll just buy at Costco at cashews or whatever, and then I'll just grab a whatever chocolate I can find laying around, and then just throw some cashews in my mouth, and just even that
Trail
alone.
mix. Yeah.
Or what I've been doing now is I perfected this for myself over the past few years. I have a chocolate ice cream addiction, and I mean like rich dark chocolate ice cream addiction, and I'm not good at just having like a small cup of it and being like I'm done, or a cone of it and being like one scoop. Like I eat like the full. It's usually that little gelato cup or whatever, but I eat the full thing every time I get it, and it's just so bad for me. So I make a smoothie version of it I bought cacao powder.
Yeah.
And I just dump like 4 like big old hefty like teaspoons or tablespoons of cacao powder in, and I put little dash of sea salt, banana, almond milk, or whatever kind of creamy milk you want, and I'll use like stevia sweetener, and maybe some chia seeds or oatmeal or a couple of the things to give it some fibers, and some what's the other dark green spinach. Throw some frozen spinach in there, and dude, when you get the balance down right, it tastes so good. And you have none of the crash that you get from eating like a whole tub of crazy.
And it curbs that.
It curbs
that. That's all I need. Like I do these fruit smoothies because I just need to feel like I'm drinking a milkshake.
Yep.
Because I want what you want, like chocolate shakes and ice cream, and like it's bad, dude. It's bad. So,
well, if you can trick yourself into like, it's like a negotiation thing with yourself. Like, all right, I'll give you something similar, but you'll feel better afterwards, and you won't have the
exactly. And then you kind of feed off that. I also included. That's funny you said. I have in my home an ice cream maker, but it's literally I have it written. It's healthy, fat free, sugar free, but it's really, really tasty.
It's unbelievably. It tastes good, but it's good for you.
It's literally like eating a cloud out of an angel's butt.
I haven't had the experience. However, I wouldn't turn it down if it was offered to me.
No, you would not. Oh, you wanted to walk back to the bedroom. Master bedroom is in the back. Past
your wife, you just slip it in there. Oh yeah, you wanted to walk back to the bedroom, right? That was your idea. Great, let's go.
You wanted to. Is it? I should probably take this shirt off. And then and off the back of that is where the main bathroom is, like the master bathroom, and that's kind of, if you want it to be, you can leave. It's almost like a trailer that it can be enclosed or it can be a little bit open, sort of like an outhouse. So it's separate. It feels more separate.
Yeah.
In nicer climates, that's ideal. If it's snowing, you don't want to go from the bed to the toilet in the snow. But like on a nice day outside, you want to be able to kind of get outside. And I don't know, man. I like going to the bathroom outside.
I do too. I have a hard time not just peeing when I'm outside.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That's an odd sentence. Just when I'm outside, I'm like, I just want to stop and like pee somewhere. Like it feels totally.
Well, I don't think I've think of it that way. I think it's more like when I have to pee, I'm like, ooh, cool, I'm outside. I can pee out here.
Like if I'm
I don't-
hiking, I want to pee. Like when I'm out hiking, I'll be like, I gotta pee, and I'm like, I don't want to
Well-
go back somewhere. I don't want to go. I feel dirty going into a bathroom, but I feel totally clean, like just being in the bushes peeing.
Yeah, but not at Runyon.
Well, that's a very small area, but like,
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about like a regular hike. Yeah.
dude, even in my own backyard, I'll come home from a bike ride, and I'll be like, I don't want to go inside to a bathroom to go pee. I want to pee right here. The sun's beating down on me. It feels beautiful out here.
Your neighbors are like, what are you doing, dude? Go inside.
Just taking a shit, squatting in the backyard. These
I just need to go to
pavers-
the bathroom outside. Dude, you're taking a dump in the driveway. Cut it out. Nature.
Oh, dude. I have a hole. My saddle is like actually like for my bike. It actually has like a hole in the middle of it because it rests on your sit bones, and so there's a gap in the middle where normally like a cheaper bike seat would put pressure on your prostate. So I could rig a pair of pants or shorts to have a hole there to where I could shit while riding like a horse.
And then it would hit the wheel. Could you poop it onto the wheel and it would just whip it out? Like if it could just
Oh my
if there's
God,
a way
that's so
that it
disgusting.
could just be a almost like a cupped wheel too that you were riding on, so it really gets.
How amazing though for somebody riding behind you or somebody driving in their car, like, honey, is that poop?
What is that? There's mud coming off here. There's something coming out of your seat. Is there a leak? Oh my God, he's shitting.
The smelliest mud. The smelliest mud. It's so
It's in my
gross.
eyes. It's in my eyes.
This is supposed to be. I'm an adult, damn it. I'm a realtor, for God's sake. I should be able to make a clean.
You can take a shit out your bike shorts onto your tire and flick it at a car or other riders if you want. You're an adult, bro.
I'm an adult, man. I'm an adult.
That's pretty much. I mean, look, it's got everything I need. There's storage for I got 2 bikes. I got a mountain bike and a road bike. I got a jet ski. I like a moped for when I need to like cruise in. If I don't want to take my van into like town and let people know I'm camping on the outskirts, I can pretend I'm just like cruising around. It's all kind of for show, just to kind of throw people off my trail. But also a pretty cool feature is that it is aquatic as well, which is why I enjoy being by the lake. So it's two interesting things that I like that it does is it's got the big tires, which act if I want. The whole van can go underwater. It can just drive underwater. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's a great way to disappear. You don't want to be seen. You want to be out of the way as far off the grid as you can get. You're going underwater, right? So you can, but again, food and water, and you can't flush your toilet a lot underwater because it'll back up, and there's issues with it. So you can't be down there you can't just go live under the sea, is what I'm saying.
Okay. No bikini bottom.
No, yeah, this isn't old SpongeBob no pants, okay?
How you doing? You understand?
but it's fun to be down there you can be down there for a day, if you don't take any real stinky dumps. If you get down there and you start like taking shits, then you're going to probably want to come up and empty the tank and whatever.
I feel like I'm in your fantasy house right now and you're giving me the rundown and you're like, okay, we got 3 rules.
Don't shit when we're underwater.
That's right. You can go
That's rule
underwater,
number
but
1.
don't take any stinky dumps. Number 2, no cursing. Number 3, stay the fuck out of the master bedroom.
Honestly, though, this is what I'd be telling you, because you wouldn't want to go under there and be like, oh, I gotta take a chili shit, and then you'd be like, hey, I flush a toilet, and then you can just see all the water coming back. It would be a mess, dude.
That sounds so disgusting.
Point is the cooler feature to me, because living underwater is great for a time, then you got to come back up, etc. But if you want, you can drive this van straight out onto a lake or onto the ocean if you want, and the tires will, when inflated properly, the whole van will float, right? The van is lifted off the water, so nothing's getting wet on the van. Just the tires are floating. Under the van is a like a netting, like almost like a hammock, right?
Oh.
So if you can just like, you can anchor, you can drift, you can float, whatever, but you can also just put it on cruise control, turn it off, and just sit in that hammock underneath, shaded, barely above the water, so you're kind of like getting the breeze. It's just a real.
Yeah, it sounds so.
And then also there'll be also like a deck that comes out off the back you can hang out on, diving board type deal that'll all kind of comes back under when you don't want it or when you're on land. But it's a fun thing to hang out on in the water. It's a good time. And if you are in the ocean, it's also got right under the net would be like a shark cage. Because I kind of got a little bit. I saw Jaws at a very early age.
Me too.
And it affected me. And I'm fascinated by sharks. I watch all the shark documentaries and nature shows I can. But like, oh, look at that!
They're my absolute favorites.
Okay, well, I'm terrified of them as well, and I never want to get bit by one.
Someone might think because of my love for sharks and the amount of books that I used to read when I was a kid about sharks that they should buy me like a birthday surprise gift. Like, you're going shark diving in a cage. But I'm like, nope, I don't want to get that close. I'm terrified of them as well.
Although this is so weird. I just talked about reading the book Jaws, and then I saw Jaws at an early age, and now I'm afraid of sharks. I would say that I would go in a cage.
Well, good.
If the cage was connected to the boat, and we weren't out searching for a man-eating lunatic shark. Like if we were just going to observe sharks in the wild, we weren't like trying to hunt them or anything. And
the shark's also got a MAGA hat on. We just keep getting these MAGA moose and a MAGA shark. You're like, he's not really. You can't reason with this shark, and he wants to kill you. Like, why? He's very angry. Why? He won't tell us.
But you know what I mean? When you saw Jaws, they went after a shark that was clearly pissed, and like,
oh yeah,
that didn't end well for Quint.
No, I mean it's
and also the cage dropping to the bottom is what, like, I can't have the cage disconnect from the boat and then just go into the water. I would
terrifying
lose my mind probably.
My buddy Andreas has the PlayStation VR, and I went to his he has like a art, what do you call it, like a loft studio thing or whatever in Frogtown. And so I went to Frogtown, visit him, and I was like, yeah, check this out. So I put it on, and the game they put on was a shark dive. And the graphics are not like, it's not even realistic graphics. It's PlayStation 4. It's good, but it's not like to where you're like the newer stuff, right?
Right, where you're like, is this a movie?
Yeah, but it was so scary doing the shark. You're in this tank and it's nighttime. You're in the cage and you're just dropping down. I couldn't even continue doing it. I was like, knowing the shark was going to come out of nowhere, I was like, here you go. I can't even do it. Like, I'm so terrified. I don't know if I was eaten by a shark in a past life or what,
But yeah, but this, you would be protected from sharks and alligators, wherever you're dipping your ass. Like, because I want you to be able to kind of hang in that water if you want, without the fear of like getting bit. And if you want to roll off that thing into the water, I want you to feel like you can go into the water without being attacked by whatever might be around.
Well, I'm just going to stay inside and eat that ice cream, but you can go into the water without that fear.
Dude, we can get that delivered right outside from a robot butler that lives with me in my van.
What's your robot butler's name?
I call him Dave, but his name is Jeff.
Okay.
It's kind of a long inside joke I don't want to get into, but I call him Dave, but his name is actually Jeff. So if you were to ask for him, like, hey, Jeff, give me some fucking
all robots Hal.
Well, that's not cool, dude. Hal was a jerk off, dude. Don't do that.
I don't trust these robots.
Okay, but they're not. You can't. Dude, now you're lumping them together. You're a robophobe.
I'm a robophobe, but have you seen robots lately? And then I just show you a picture of them. They all have MAGA hats on.
Dude, have you actually seen robots lately? They're being trained to shoot guns and dominate. It's terrifying, dude. Robots are terrifying. I knew as soon as we could have dolls that were realistic sex dolls, that was it. The next step is military grade robots. Actually, the first step is the military grade that we didn't know anything about, and then the sex dolls, and now we're finding out about the military robots.
Why can't we just stick with sex? Like, why does everything always get blown out of proportion into violence and dominance and evil things? Why can't they just make sex stuff and cure the virus?
Well, I mean, porn isn't trying to like make anything. They're just trying to,
I know, but the people that are making robots that kill, I'm like, couldn't you just make robots that fuck harder?
Unfortunately, the porn leads the way in that kind of technology. I don't know. It's a double-edged. It's a fine line to walk.
That's what the robots are really good at, though. They're calculated. They can walk fine lines.
Terminator 2, everybody. Terminator 2. It's happening.
Listen, as long as they kill the virus, also, then I'm happy.
Dude, Elon Musk thinks we should be AI by the end of the year. We should be all part cyborg by next month.
He's on Rogan after a cup of coffee. He's like,
dude, I just tried caffeine. Also, if you don't have sex with a robot and have a robot baby.
I mean, he's probably right. If the human race really does go on for another 100 years, then by that time we probably will integrate with robots because you won't be able to not do it. I mean, dude,
who knows? Yeah, it would be crazy to be a fly on the wall. Like, I'm not interested in living past my life expectancy or any kind of eternal life in this body, but I think I think it'd be interesting to be a fly on the wall in like 1,000 years, see where things are, if there's anyone left, if
Like if it's recognizable.
Yeah, if it's recognizable at all.
I definitely I'm hopeful that like things will go on. I don't know what it is, that innate need as a multiplying biological organism that like I want my kids to live on, and even the kids that I don't meet that come 10 generations from them, I'm like, I want them to live on. It's like this weird thing, and I don't know if it's spiritual or just an innate like evolutionary thing that.
Well, it's probably a lot of different things, because technically I am definitely of the belief that all the energy that's ever been in this world and that will ever be in this world has already been created. It's here. Everything that like the universe. It is the ocean, right?
Yeah.
And every wave that comes up is one of us, like different, unique. It rides out for different time spans, different wavelengths. It comes in, comes out, but eventually, every wave crashes on the shore, and when it does, that energy of that wave just kind of disperses and then goes back out into the universe to become, another wave. Some energy over here, some energy over here, whatever. So there's never birth and death is it's a man-made. Those are man-made concepts, essentially.
Yeah.
Like birth. What were you doing before you were born? Did it hurt? Nothing. You don't know, right? But you weren't nothing. You were the energy that is now in this form that will eventually go back out into the universe, only to reform in a different wave.
But you won't know that it was you, though, right? It's like
not necessarily. Yeah, I mean, I think sometimes that's what deja vu and that kind of stuff, like, or like people who might be not necessarily clairvoyant, but who have a little bit more tendencies towards ESP than other people, that kind of stuff. So yeah, I mean, I think that's out there, and it's also one of those things. Like the only thing, it's just we hold on to these forms a lot. You know what I mean? It's like the only thing really separating this energy from going back out in the world is this outline of the body. You know what I mean? So essentially, it just gets erased and it all goes back out.
It's a trip. And
also, in 200 years, no one's going to fucking remember any of us. So
they'll probably be so fast moving that they won't. I mean, have you ever heard like the simulation theory that like in 200 years, technology would be so good that they would probably have ancestor simulations, and so. Probability wise, do you think that we're the first civilization ever, or do you think we're more likely we're one of the simulations? I've heard that. That's pretty trippy.
Oh, that is pretty trippy. It's interesting because we all remember not remember, but society went into the dark ages because people repressed science and repressed math and repressed information and education, and kind of was like, that's Satan's work or whatever. And then
sounds familiar, doesn't it?
Dude, that's what I'm saying is there is a similarity. Like we are on the cutting edge of doing exactly what you're saying, like living eternally online. You know what I mean? Living eternally in a download, living eternally. You can have your grandpa with you forever, whatever it is,
Yeah.
We're essentially close to that, but are we so close now to also curing really important diseases and giving people a longer life expectancy, which will in turn fuck things up even more, because now you get people, we already live a very long time in comparison to the first human beings. We're like, he's 12? Oh my God, he's old. And he's dead. You know what I mean? Because a dinosaur ate him or whatever. Like it doesn't, we live longer, but with, what the fuck was I saying?
You were saying basically.
No. What?
You were saying basically that that the we could be going fully digital.
Yeah, but we are about to come. But there is a strong case to be made that we are about to enter another dark ages, which will suppress and push all this kind of what we've done so far. And I'm not saying this is going to happen, and I'm not predicting anything. I'm not smart enough to say it. I don't think it's a conspiracy. I don't think it's, but there are a lot of people who are anti-technology, anti-science, anti-math. And if the wrong people are in charge of creating and, laws and disseminating justice and and all that shit, then who knows what could go on.
And mentioning the Dark Ages is such an interesting thing, because in the Dark Ages, they only had the weaponry and the science of the Dark Ages. So the damage that they could have done, maybe humanity wouldn't have even made it out of the Dark Ages if they had the technology that we have today. So I don't know if we have the same problem of going back into an identical analogous Dark Age.
It's not. It couldn't be. It couldn't be identical. It would be in the form of information and media getting repressed and furthering where we're at.
Oy, sounds horrible. I was looking for a wonderful, bright future, but what you're telling me is it's going to be horrible.
No. I'm sorry. That's not what I meant. Yeah. Okay. I just meant like you have to be. It's hard. You have to be like, you have to get in your own head and figure out like that you're going to be okay.
No matter what happens.
That
your soul will be all right. It's just everything's just an Arcade Fire song, and you're going to be okay.
Dude, we are living in a matrix, baby.
In a matrix, like if there was like a Tom Jones song.
It's like Bob Seger said,
isn't real. Cause you took the wrong pill.
It's like Bob Seger said, like a matrix.
Ooh, like a matrix. As I unplug myself from this weird thing I'm in, and I can brush my gel off my body, I meet a couple of people in some weird vehicle.
Turn the page.
The flavors of steak.
It's all just, the lyrics are just 0110011011010.
Is that a robot or a man?
Walk into a restaurant, strung out from the road. Yeah. That's funny, man.
I don't know.
I mean, we're definitely going to be, we're getting into some crazy, we're in, but see, here's the thing is, well, all these commercials that are coming out, like, we're here for you in these uncertain times, but all times are uncertain.
Yeah.
Literally, the only thing that you have is the exact present moment.
That's what my brother told me when this thing first started, and I was totally freaking out. He was just like, you've lived in California your whole life, and everything's always seemed like it was away from you, but that's just you personally. But you live on a planet where like this kind of crazy stuff clearly happens, and now it's happening all over the planet. There's no escape, and it's like it's always been like this. It's always been, it's very Rami Dossi and trippy and Terrence McKenna and however you want to look at it, but it's like, it's always been volcanoes erupting and extinctions and weird things, and just it's just uncomfortable when you personalize it. And you're like, but I have kids and friends and family and people I love that I want to see happy, and
Sure, but then no one thinks about like the Spanish. Think this has happened before. We've gone through things like this, the plague, like no generation is immune to any of it.
Well, the dark side is that you're not immune to it, but the good side is like we've made it through everything.
Well, I mean, you say we as in the human race, right?
Yeah. Well, hopefully you and me sitting here as well.
Well, right, but I mean, clearly a lot of people didn't make it through the Spanish flu, and clearly a lot of people didn't make it through this little incident.
I know, dude. Well, I guess that's how we got to go out on this episode too, is be like, and we hope you guys who listen to this make it out of this incident as best you can.
And also just take care of yourselves. Don't sit inside and just get fucking wasted, and don't just binge watch TV all day. Get out, do something, man.
Get sun, get that vitamin D, get your
mental vitamins, get some sun. If you're going to go down a YouTube rabbit hole, make it a weirdly positive one. You know what I mean? Like, just watch yoga video, do yoga. Like, I don't know, man.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Just take care of yourselves, because I feel like would have been easy to, like, at the beginning of this, to be like, oh, this will just be a week or two. This is like a vacation, right?
Yeah.
And then to kind of treat it like you were out of town and getting hammered, and then after a while, you're like, dude, cannot, can't do this anymore.
I can't go on like this.
And then there's some people who just couldn't, they've got no stage time, they've got no work, they've got no outlet, they've got no, it's just, you gotta take care of yourself and check in with each other and I don't know. I can't stress that shit enough, and I feel like a broken record because I say it all the time, and then inevitably somebody I know offs themselves, and I'm like, does nobody heed this shit? Is it just falling on?
It's just hard. It's just like it's just hard to keep up with. It's fitness. It's mental fitness. You can't give up and be like, I'm done. I did my one thing. Like you said it when we were
That's
talking.
That's exactly right. You have to keep going.
You gotta keep going. And
you're gonna have bad days. You're gonna have bad days. Everybody has bad days.
Okay.
It's like you want to scream it into a pillow. You want to fucking, you know what I mean? Punch your couch cushions. Go crazy, dude. But just know that there's gonna be another one.
Another bad day.
Always, yeah. Well, okay. Another bad day, another good day, another day.
Yeah.
You know, and not everyone is gonna suck.
And it's okay to ride the roller coaster and hate some parts of it, but then know that you'll get the parts that you really like. But you got to hang in there through the bad ones.
Yeah, and you're not insane because you're fucking pissed or you're angry or you're sad or you're
whatever you're feeling too.
Fucking whatever you're feeling. It's like other people are feeling that same shit.
Oh my goodness! Well, if you're listening to this, I hope you feel like a hashtag blessed guest hanging out in John's trippy ass boat motor home.
Yeah, you'd want to spend a lot of time on the water, huh?
I would probably spend a fair amount of time on the water.
You like that hammock?
But I love like wintertime. I love like desert nights in the wintertime.
Oh, yeah.
Desert days when it's like 65, 70 and you're in like the middle of the desert. I love that during the winter. And then summertime, like I love being in the mountains.
Yeah.
Small pines, different kinds of pines and, all that stuff. So I would totally be into, I'm wiping what you're shitting, bro. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't know. Not familiar with that saying, but.
Oh, dude. I'm into it.
Have you used that before?
Oh yeah, dude. My buddy and I wrote up a bunch of them when we were younger. I'm guzzling.
So this is from a list of you and a friend.
Oh yeah, dude. My buddy Adam and I, we came up with that. I'm guzzling what you're jizzing. I'm wiping what you're shitting. I'm eating what you're cooking. But eating what you're cooking is not racy enough. It's kind of boring. It's kind of milquetoast. But guzzling what you're jizzing.
Guzzling what you're jizzing is pretty rough. I'm guzzling what you're jizzing.
That's why I like that one so much.
It's jizz. I'm jizzing jizz. It's jizz.
Say that in a square relationship. It's nothing where there's a big risk at hand where you're like at a in a business meeting.
A work meeting? Yeah. Hey boss, I'm guzzling what you're jizzing.
Like next time you're talking to somebody and they're, let's say you got a new credit card and you're gonna have to call to activate it or whatever, and you're on the phone with a person. And they tell you
call it, activate it.
Press this button, and then it's going to give you a prompt, and then all you do is put your code and be like, yeah, I'm guzzling what you're jizzing.
So you say it to robots.
No, people.
Oh.
Bureaucrats. Oh, dude, to robots. That's good. That's the future of dealing with salespeople. It's just
pretty much
ridiculous stuff to robots.
Well, that's all that I ever get to talk to.
Where can people find you there, Mr. Huck?
I do have a new album out that you can get on my website, jonhuck.me, MEJONHUCK. The album is called Compromised Maturity. It just came out in April.
Yeah.
I'm pushing that hard, trying to get more play on Sirius and Pandora, and trying to get some reviews on iTunes and get people interested.
Hell yeah. Check out John's stuff.
I'm trying to get my dates rescheduled that I lost because of all this, but nothing is in the works yet.
I feel like once they have better treatments, not even the vaccine, but just better treatments, or they know like what they want to do for treatments, which they're clearly going towards right now.
Yeah.
Knowing like, we need to use these blood thinners when someone has this reaction to the virus.
Yep.
We need to use this when someone has this reaction. They're getting better, and in the next, I don't know, I was talking about it with my dad. He's an engineer, smart dude, but not at all professional in the viral world or biology.
Smart enough to know he's not a doctor.
Smart enough to know he's not a doctor, but him and I were just joking about it yesterday, and he was like, I was saying like in the next year, he's like, probably actually in the next 6 months they'll have some more like treatments that people can count on where the death rate should go down. So I feel like once that happens, then even before a vaccine, like there'll be a lot more like calmness about, okay, yeah, we can have you at our comedy club. We can have travel can resume a little bit more and life can get back. So that's what I'm hoping.
Yeah.
Don't quote me on any of this shit, but I'm hoping that. So you'll get your dates. JONHUCK.me, JONHUCK.me. Download his album. Show him some support. And you guys be silly and have fun. If you're an essential worker listening to this, thank you so much. And if you're just someone
Yes.
playing it safe and wearing a mask and caring and doing anything nice for your community, thank you. Thank you so much. We love you and we appreciate you. Be silly and have fun.
Yeah.
Mwah. Oh, yeah, and if you're a new listener, hit the subscribe button. Give us a 5-star review. And if you've already been a listener, hit that share button. Mwah.